Walter White would fall down, perishing at the end of the series. His life was over, but his afterlife just began, as suddenly Walter White would wake up. As he looked around, the sky was red, as he saw buildings everywhere. He didn't really know where he was or what to do, so he simply just kept on walking, getting the lay of the land. As he looked down, he saw a puddle. As his skin was changed, Walter White was now some sort of reptile. As he was shocked, he fell down. Maybe he was on some sort of trip. Maybe when he passed out, Jesse gave him something. But Jesse was gone. Who else would do this? Was this some sort of dream? Jesse couldn't have done this. Walter White must be dreaming, he told himself, but he pinched himself and nothing happened. Where was he? He would walk up and start to ask people, but no one would tell him until eventually one person told him hell. As in, Walter White sighed. He didn't know if there was an afterlife or not, and the show never really talked about if Walter White believed in God or not, so that's up to debate. But it seemed like there was an afterlife, and he was in hell. As Walter White himself was confused, he didn't really know what to do now, as it seemed like hell was not a place for punishment, but just a place where sinners lived. As he went out a few days, he had nothing to do, nowhere to go, until he decided to cook again. Even though at first Walter did it for his family, he admitted during the finale that, well, he liked it. He was good at it, so he might as well start. But who would he work for? After all, he could try to start on his own and try to become a kingpin, but he didn't really know the rules or society or anything like that. He needed someone to sell with. As Walter White realized that he had powers, he was strong like a lizard, fast like one, and he could even regenerate his tail. But he was also extremely intelligent. With all these traits, he needed to find someone where he can start selling for. And eventually, he would find someone who sells to his people for half off so they can stay addicted. And he pushes it all over hell. His name was Valentino. As Walter White would meet with Val, Val would say, "Show me what you got." Then suddenly, Heisenberg was back in town, as he would throw Val the blue stuff and say, "Here, pure blue." As Val would have someone test it for him, he would say, "Oh my god, this is the best stuff ever, man. I'm hit. This is very, very defined. Alright, you are in business, but how do you make it? If I tell you that, you'll just dispose of me, because you won't need me anymore." Val would laugh and say, "Correct! Looks like you're smarter than I thought. Now, how much money are you willing to make? Let me guess. Since I first got down here, you think you can trick me by offering me money that's not actually that valuable. I know the people that work under you. You own their soul, and you don't pay them a lot. I want lots of money, or I'm gonna go to the next person. And you could dispose of me or try to get rid of me, but I'll respawn unless you have an angelic weapon. I don't see one on you." Val would say, "You've done your homework. Alright, I'll think of this as an investment. How about 500,000 a year? And if you do good enough, I'll double it till you reach 5 million a year. Does that sound fair?" Walter White would say, "Alright." And Val would say, "Oh, and for every month you'll get a bonus. If it's good, you'll get a 30,000 bonus. Alright? And you'll have a house given to you by me. It won't be anything fancy, but it'll be enough to start." Val would agree as Walter White and Val would start to work together. Months would pass. Val would try to make the quota harder and harder for Walter White to pass. Now Heisenberg. However, each time Val tried to make it harder, Walter White would pass with flying colors and managed to spread his influence. He also had spies in Val's business and hired a few guards of his own, in case Val would ever double-cross him, since he literally is an overlord, as Walter White even began to train. Walter White was doing very well, and Val would love to get someone to cook as good as them and own their soul, so he doesn't have to pay him anything. But he can't do that. And this money bringing in is well worth the investment, so Val should be happy. And he was, somewhat. But Val was still wanted total control, and Walter White was very cute. If he could own his soul, he can have his body and not pay him anything. It's a win-win. but he could never trick him. He tried over and over again to try to trick Walter White with different circumstances, but he got past all of it. As a few years would pass, Walter White would be doing very well in the business. As one day, someone would visit him. It was Vox.
Vox would say, "Heisenberg, my favorite reptile." Heisenberg would say, "I made more than twice the quota, and I got my bonus. What do you want?" Usually Val sends you when he's too emotional. But I didn't. Vox would say, "Relax, he doesn't even know I'm here." Matter of fact, you were extremely intelligent. He tried to trap you, take his soul. Most people would have fell for it, but you outsmarted him every time and managed to get your bonus. Huh. It beats working on the streets. I could always form my own gang, but that's dangerous. Even with all the protection here, it might have its risk, but it's better than that. Vox would say, "What if I taught you how to defend yourself better? And you could be a mercenary too." "Why would I do that? I'm already making plenty of money, and that's dangerous." Vox would say, "True. But you need some respect. Even us, the most powerful overlords, can't keep you protected forever. After all, we keep your identity a secret, because if they found out that someone can make this high quality, everyone would be after you. So why don't I teach you how to defend yourself?" Heisenberg would say, "I don't need," as suddenly Vox would try to shoot him with electricity. He would dodge last second, but then Vox would punch him to the ground and begin to shoot him with more. Not bad with that dodge. And your body seems powerful, but suddenly Heisenberg would throw a tiny little explosive at him, just like he did in the show. As suddenly Vox would fall down, he would get back up and shoot Heisenberg down. Now that was impressive. Now let me train you. Vox would offer to train Heisenberg, as Heisenberg would reluctantly agree, as he started his training to fight for himself. As Heisenberg would train, he would learn martial arts and things like that, and even a bit of magic. He wasn't as strong as an overlord, but how powerful you are in hell is how evil your life was, and he had a very criminal life, but it was only towards the end of his life. If his life was like that for his entirety, Walter White could be one of the strongest overlords, but it wasn't, making him slightly below an overlord. However, this still gave him a lot of power, and with his cooking influence, he would definitely be able to make business with overlords, and maybe even become one, off of his business sense and skill alone. And with his fighting prowess, he would not be able to be pushed around, even by people stronger than him. It wouldn't be worth the fight. As Walter White continued training, eventually his training with Vox was completed, as Vox wanted to give him a task to trust him, to prove himself. As Vox would throw down an angelic weapon for Heisenberg, this angelic weapon was a sniper rifle, as he would say, "I want you to get rid of Stolas." Stolas is a very rich and powerful demon, and he's been causing a lot of troubles for this woman named Stella, and she put out a hit on him. She hired Stryker, but she offered double if anyone else can take him out, especially someone inexperienced like herself. "Let me guess, you want the money?" "Nope, you can keep it." I know you don't, neither do I, but this will up your street cred. Do we have a deal?" Walter White would nod and say, "Street cred, but isn't the whole point to make sure no one knows it's me?" Vox would say, "Relax, the right people will know." Walter White would nod, as he would get the rifle ready, as one day, Stolas was out there eating, as he had bodyguards because of all the attempts on his life, so he had to think this through. So his plan was to stage a fake attack. As he hired some of his group to attack his house, Stolas easily came out and turned them all to stone, but as he did that, Walter White would pull the trigger and end Stolas. As Stolas fell down no more, he would go down and talk to Vox. Heisenberg would do it. He would become a legend. He would become a hitman, taking down some of the most powerful people in hell, and he would also sell one of the most lucrative products in hell. Everyone would hear the name Heisenberg, but only the V's would know who he truly was. He was a legend, a myth. Some people say he didn't exist. It was some organization pretending to be him. Others would make rumors about his powers, because the true power, the strongest power that you can have, is mystery. Even though Heisenberg was a mere low-tier overlord, everyone was scared of him. Everyone assumed he had these great powers, and everyone was scared of his influence. And no one knew that he was under the thumb of the V's. And that's where we're going to leave things off.
just gonna leave things off. Usually I have people go into the hotel, getting redeemed and things like that. And Heisenberg definitely had humanity in him. And at the very end, he was almost completely gone. But there was moments where, like, he made sure all of his money went to his family. So I definitely could have sent him to the hotel and had him be redeemed. But I decided to do the other way around. I decided to have him work for the V's and to have the V's become more powerful and have him become more powerful. And even though he wasn't super strong physically, everyone feared him, just like in the show, as he would rule from the shadows and use his reputation. As no one knew who truly Heisenberg was, the fear began to grow as rumors spread across the city, as people became addicted to his substance. But, you know, that's normal throughout hell. What's not normal is not knowing who's selling it. And that's where the fear began. That's where the rumors began. And with him doing mercenary work, people become even more scared of him. Everyone began to theorize who Heisenberg really was, without knowing that it was Walter White, a man that they've never heard of. So yeah, I definitely think that was a good video. I don't know what you guys think. I love Breaking Bad. This video will either get a bunch of views or no views. Like, I don't know which one it would do. But if it got a bunch of views, thank you. If it got almost no views, well, thank you for watching anyway if you made it this far. I love you all so much. Thank you for watching me. Thank you for supporting me. Thank you for being here. And let me know how your day's going in the comments below. I also wanted to say that YouTube has been very good to me recently. You know, one of my videos did very well, and I'm trying to replicate it, but I don't know if I can. And, well, yeah, when the new Hazbin season comes out, I'm hoping that a bunch of my videos would start to do a lot better. I want my channel to be verified. To do that, you have to get 100K, and we're nowhere near that. We're almost to 10K, though, so that's good. But, yeah, I don't know if my channel will ever be verified. Once you're verified, you're like an official YouTuber. YouTube considers you an official YouTuber, so it's a big deal. Anyway, thank you for listening to me. I love you all so much. You mean the world to me. Peace out.